East, Burgermeister, Mayor, Werner Dreissigacker, which name means 30 fields, writes to you a friendly note on the first page of the book on Ebersbach as follows. Zur freundlichen Erinnerung und mit dem herzlichsten Grüßen aus Dietshölztal, Ebersbach, für Don und Scherer Hoffhines. War gezeichnet Bürgermeister Dreissigacker. War gezeichnet Erhard Scholl. D. Ebersbach, den 18. Juli 1988. As a kind memory and with warm regards from Dietshölz Valley, Ebersbach, to Don and Scherer Hoffhines. Was signed Mayor Dreissigacker, was signed Erhard Scholl. D. Ebersbach, July 18, 1988. We are going to Wald Hotel, Forest Hotel, Boxbach, a little hotel in a silent valley, 15 kilometers, 10 miles away from Ebersbach, because the two Gasthöfe, inns, in Ebersbach had their rest day. The food was good. They cooked on wood, as you can see. The wine too young, see number 14. And the view from the balcony of the room very nice. The next morning, under breakfast, there is a nice view through the window underneath the real German curtains. I want to pay with a credit card, but American Express, or so, looked so extremely modern that I had to go to Breidenbach, 16 kilometers, 10 miles round trip, to get cash. Well, it was not surprising us, because in the guest book that we had to fill in, we saw that the last 2 years, in total 40 guests stayed in the 20 rooms little hotel. They lived from their Wirtschaft, country restaurant, and didn't, of course, have much experience with credit cards or other very modern plastic money. The post office seemed to be pretty happy with a Dutch check, because they gave me money for it and I could pay the hotel. In the valley, on the way back from Breidenbach, an emotional request. Bitte schon die Tiere. The sign says, please take care for the animals. In this area lived until 1930 still the Auerhahn, the wood grouse, which died out because the last centuries much oak forest is changed for pine by the landlords, because it sold better. But the wood grouse had in the pine forest too little ground protection. Maria has read that in Banfe, a couple of miles further on, a little museum is, where items from old times out of this area are exposed. The building itself is from 1793 and is closed. A man passing by tells us that it is only open the first Sunday of every month, and he gives us the address of Herr Werner Schmidt, the volunteer manager. Herr Schmidt lives in a big house and is retired from the post. He looks like a real Jerry. The type, Achtung, Befehl ist Befehl. Jawohl, der Herr. Attention, order is order. Yes, sir. The American language is not so useful for an act like this. I thought, boy, it never will work without a trick. I told him that the mayor of EWERSBACH called his name and asked if we could look in the museum. He wanted mistrustful the name of the mayor. So I showed him the foreword to you in that book on EWERSBACH. And boy, that really did it. He took the key and his jacket, because people coming from the mayor you cannot guide without being good dressed. From the view of our car, he shows us different old buildings, all of them from about the middle of 1700. Funny is the Sparkasse, the saving bank, in this old complex on the village market with the inevitable big tree in the center. Recently restored is this beautiful timber frame house, the usual construction system from hundreds of years ago. This inscription is because of the old German dialect hard to read, but it says anyway, Zimmermeister, master carpenter, Jacob Wetter, den 18. Mai 1768, the 18th of May 1768. In the museum we only made pictures of items who probably your Johann Jacob also could have seen or even used in that time. Here an example of the construction system of buildings. Wooden frame beams with in between winded branches filled up with loam. This used to be finished with a layer of loam. Mostly worked neighbors together in this way. No large contracting companies that time. This facade piece, Herr Schmidt could save, belonged to a house from 1648 that had to be pulled down for the construction of a new road. If you realize that all the saw work over there that time had to be done with this type of saw, then you are sure that in this time we are very much spoiled. The saw was used standing up with one man above on the second floor and one down on the ground floor. This plow is also from the middle of 1700. In this case, it was to us a very interesting piece, because the name Hoffhines could mean Heinz von der Hof. In American, Hank from the farm, also Farm Hank. In German again, Hoffheinz. Thinking that way, it could be that the first Hoffhines owned a farm. These beautiful decorated draw beams for twin horses are made at the end of 1600. This kind of handcraft used to be done during the winters when people could not working out on the fields. A weaving loom. It is from the end of 1700. Funny detail, the cast iron frame is from this area, but it has Dutch machine parts on it. It still works. I must honestly say that Mr. Smith knows a lot about the items in this museum. We asked him more, and he also answered that than we at the moment can tell on this tape. This kitchen table is from 1712. Forget about the pieces on it. They are much younger. They never separated their mess time by time. Here shows a picture the way how since the Middle Ages pigs were slaughtered and boned. It still happens this way during national street parties, and also a few far away farmers still do it this way. An absolute beauty is this cast iron stove, well in American I should say cast iron stove, from around 1700, in which on two stores pie, bread, and so on could be baked. It was owned by rich people. The poor had loam stoves. And it was made in the works in the surrounding, where from 1300 already cast iron was made. Mr. Schmidt tells that this lamp is from the time that the candles were replaced by petroleum lamps. But people, that very modern system for those days not directly trusted. A little jewel from around 1700. It is used to put out the burning tobacco in a stone pipe. That little slide door left could be slide up. Then the pipe in it, slide down again with the stem through the hole in the door. With nowhere the tobacco stopped burning and nothing was spoiled. Shoemachers Handwerkzeuge. Shoemakers' tools all over. The knives had to be sharpened with whetstones. The best result with those stones they became with human beings' spittle. Oil. Watch the lamp here. It's a very unique piece. It was half filled with water and on that water oil, which the burning wick feeded. The bulb could be turned over in the ropes where it hanged on, so that the light was shining on the work spot. A summary of the ironworks in the area with the several periods where they existed. Also, in EWERSBACH is today some modern steel industry. More details about that are to find in the translation from the documentation we sent. Beautiful old examples from a cast iron work out of an unknown year. Yes, Herr Schmidt knew a lot to tell. He did not care if he had to walk home. But, of course, we brought him safely by car. Jawohl. We are going direction Lasve, riding on quiet little roads in a beautiful romantic surrounding. Lasve is a recreation resort, very well known. There are natural sources and several clinics. But this time we are more interested in the impressive castle Wittgenstein, which is known in history from 1174. So you can see several parts are rebuilt during the centuries. At the moment the castle is in use as a boarding school. We show you actually all these antiques to let you know how culture-rich your heritage area was and is. We are about 20 kilometers, is 12.5 miles, distance from EWERSBACH, where we now go again. The traffic signs on these Bundesstraßen, the roads in Western Germany, are yellow. For the Autobahnen, the freeways, they are blue with white letters. That system works all right and is easy to use. By the way, while I am speaking on this tape, I hear in the headphone that I mix sometimes a bit of the German and American accents. That is because I use them mixed this time, and they are both foreign languages to me. Such does not happen so much with the mixed Dutch-American or Dutch-German. Sorry for that. I hope you can understand it. In the meantime, Herr Erhard Scholl from the town hall did his best for us. He had a phone call with Rudolf Hoffhines, Oranienstraße 23, Orange Street 23. Well, he did not call from this type generally in West Germany in use telephone cabin. He made an appointment for us. Herr Hoffhines, age 72, said, "If they are nice people, they are welcome, but only a short time, because he had surgery 10 days ago and did not feel very well." But Mrs. Louise Hoffhines, age 68, thought that it was better that Rudolf had some entertainment, and she was very happy with our visit. Her face was wounded all over because she fell down badly about a week earlier. Pretty soon, from all directions, family came up, and they invited us warm for Kaffee und Kuchen, coffee and pie. Granddaughter Ilona, age 12, wrote down on paper number 8 who were sitting around the table. Son Dieter, age 39, sits on my place while I was taking the picture. I'm happy to have the opportunity taking pictures of the family Bible. It is kept very good in order and shows since 1801 all the family members. Putting all the information from the municipality administration and this family Hoffhines together, then did we find out that in this area of the country Landil exist 4 families Hoffhines today in age around 70 years. They have together 5 sons and 1 daughter, age around 40 years, and 1 grandson and 5 granddaughters, age 5 till 15 years. And that's all. To find out all the connections in the family Hoffhines, one will need indeed some time. We, in the meantime, discussed with the Hoffhines family all kinds of facts and meanings. It is also not impossible that during one of the 2 world wars, a Hoffhines, doing his duty for his country, the United States of America, is being confronted with a Hoffhines who did his duty for the country Germany. Everybody hoped that they did not shoot. The town hall's file, which Mr. Scholl showed us, had also a complete collection and administration from all in the wide surrounding existing cities, villages and families having a coat of armor. The Hoffhines family does not belong to those. I'm sorry to say, but the outline that you sent is never registered and must be a fantasy from somebody. I think that it's more serious if you don't use that thing anymore. We know a very good expert in this matter, and if you are really interested, I could ask him to write you a letter and explain you what is going on. And also that for civilian families, having a coat of arms had nothing to do with standing or so. In the book, on EWERSBACH, number 1, a few times the name Hoffheinz shows up. The Z in Germany is pronounced as TZ. That is why they pronounce Hoffheinz. Zwei for 2, zurück for back, zu viel for too much, and so on. All with Z. There is also a picture of the postkutsche, stagecoach you say, in the book. Maybe Johann Jacob used it sometimes. See page 58. Maria translated already several pages with pictures and names of the earlier family Hoffhines. We sent them with this. Rudolf Hoffheinz was Schreiner, furniture maker, and Louise shows us proud in a room with very dim light a beautiful table which he made in 1946. Oma said to Ilona, "Let the uncle," that was me, "see the other table." The uncle and his wife were for granddaughter Ilona very exciting, a kind of science fiction members of universe peoples who spoke her language. Grandma Louise Hoffheinz showed suddenly a big doll in historical costume. That were her clothes that she wore when she was as little as the doll. Louise told that these beautiful costumes were from this area since 1700, and she wore this one on Sundays. They wore them until the 1930s. Her grandma made it for her. She shows all the details, every little thing handmade. That must have taken a year, making a costume like that. Maybe, you never know, your Johann Jacob made love with a girl from about 20, wearing a costume like that. But I don't think that he could so free and easy look under her skirts as my camera did. Son Dieter, at least, brings us to his home and office, where I got badges and pins from the volunteer fire department, where he is chief of this